Well, hello. This is tomorrow. Please join for the live stream. I'm loading this at like midnight. Yep. And yep, we're gonna take a look at the teams. Not just mine. We're gonna go through the entire league. So, to start at the top. Yep, we're gonna entire league, and I'm gonna start doing this like every week. So, I know it's on Thursday morning. For me, it's it's midnight for me. Talk. Second intermission between the Kings Kraken game. I'm watching that and I don't have time. So for the Dallas Stars, they are at the top of the entire league. 32 games played, 53 points, 25 wins, 4 losses, 3 overtime losses. Top of the league. Those last streams I do, they're like since you can't actually do games, you can't see games from other teams in this, I make up my own. You can't even see schedules unless you're in the game. It shows the opposing team. It shows 3 games. So you only see your team's schedule. So I do other simulations of other teams against other teams. So Dallas at the top. 32 games played, 53 points, 25 wins, 4 losses, 3 overtime losses. 24 of those regulation and overtime. And we're on to the Montreal Canadiens. They are the second in the league. And, for Dallas. We're going to go Central Division. They're at the top, obviously. And for Montreal, since they're Atlantic, they'll go here too. So they're also at the top. So the first two are at the top of their division. So the Canadiens, also 32 games played, 44 points for them. So 9-point gap overall between the team number 1 and team number 2. 22 wins for the Canadiens, 10 losses, and 19 of those are regulation and overtime. There's no overtime losses. 44 points for them. They're first in the Atlantic. First in the Central for Dallas, first in the Central. And the Ducks, they are Pacific Division. They're also at the top. And 33 games played for them, 43 points. 21 of those are wins, 11 losses, 1 overtime loss. 20 of the wins are in regulation or overtime. And now on to my team, the Devils. They're the first in the Metro. I'm not first in the Metropolitan Division. I'll just show you right here. Now that's Atlantic. See? So the first 4 teams are first in every division, 1 from each division. That's kind of cool to me. So they have played 29 games, at least out of anyone so far, actually anyone visible. 42 points for them, 19 wins. So they're still not at 20 yet. 19 wins, 6 losses, 4 overtime losses. 18 of the 19 wins are in regulation or overtime. And under 15, Minnesota Wild, they are in the Central Division. They are second, below Dallas. Well, the Minnesota Wild, 31 games played, 42 points, 20 wins, and 42 points, 20 wins, 9 losses, 2 overtime losses, 20 regulation or overtime wins. So, no shootouts. No shootout wins for them, I should say. On to Philly. They're in the Atlantic, I believe. No, wait. Metro? Yes, they're in the Metro. 29 games played, 40 points, 19 wins, 8 losses, 2 overtime losses. So right below my team, the Devils. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to look at all that. So their stats, I'll save that for another one. So I'm going to just tell you where every team is, so we'll have something to follow. And I'll do it again on Sunday. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon is probably when I'll do this. Today's work, because I shouldn't just so you have general escape, because you're supposed to come back over and over. Can I give you an incentive? 40 points, 19 wins, 8 losses, 2 overtime losses, 16 regulation. 16 wins are in regulation overtime, so 3 of them did go to a shootout. Now we're gonna go down a bit. And we're gonna go down to the Boston Bruins right here. So the Boston Bruins, for them, in this universe, 29 games played, 40 points, 19, 8 losses, 2 overtime losses, 16 of their 19 wins are in regulation or overtime. And then a 69% percentage, which is, I don't want to look at some of the more advanced stats too much, but yeah, interesting is, Dallas like a mile ahead of everyone else in terms of point percentage. You can see that. They have 53 points. The Canadiens are the next closest. They have only 44. Back on to Boston, so yep. 18 wins for them. 9 of those losses, 9 losses, 4 overtime losses. 17 of their 18 wins are in regulation or overtime. Now for the Ottawa Senators. 32 points for them. They're in the Atlantic Division, and they are third to Boston and Montreal, so yeah. So they still have a guaranteed playoff spot. So the Ottawa Senators. 32 games played, 39 points. 17 wins, 10 losses, 5 overtime losses. So still well above 500. So third in their division. They're right overall in the entire league. 14 of their 17 wins are in regulation or overtime. So 3 of them went to a shootout. On to the Vegas Golden Knights. Stanley Cup champs from last year. In real life, in this universe, there is no last year, but Pacific Division. They're second to the Ducks. They're 33 games played, 39 points, 17 wins, 11 losses, 5 overtime losses. So now to the point where losses are in double digits. And yeah, the Ducks have 11 too, but go back up to the entire league. And then scroll down to Vegas. So yeah. If we go back, see, a lot of these are in single. Now we're getting to the point where they're in double digits regularly. Yeah, there's no more single digits in the loss column. So Vegas, yep. They're 9 points, 17 wins, 11 losses, 5 overtime losses, 14 of their 17 wins in regulation overtime, meaning 3 went to the shootout. Now on to the Chicago Blackhawks. 33 games played, 38 points, 17 wins, 12 losses, 4 overtime losses, 15 regulation or overtime wins. Now we're to the point where the point percentage is below 60, and the Blackhawks are in the Central Division, so in real life they're not doing so well. In this universe, they're doing okay. And they're in a playoff spot. In this universe, they are. In real life, not so much. 33 games played for them, 38 points, 17 wins, 12 losses, 4 overtime losses, 15 of their 17 wins are in regulation or overtime. Their division, and yeah. For now, they have a playoff. They've secured a playoff spot. And we are on to the Winnipeg Jets. They are next. So, they're 11th overall in the entire league. 31 games played, 37 points. 18 wins, 12 losses, 1 overtime loss for them. They're right below Chicago. I'm not going to go back to the slide. So they're right below Chicago. 37 points, 18 wins, 12 losses, 1 overtime loss, 14 of their 18 wins in regulation or overtime. Meaning 4 of their wins went to shootout in which they won. 59 6.7 points percentage, which is actually higher than Chicago. It's because they play less games than the Blackhawks have. And they have only one less point. So yeah, it's close between these two teams. And for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, on to that. So they are in the Atlantic. Lightning. They are the wild card. 33 games played, 37 points, 17 wins, 13 losses, 3 overtime losses, 16. They're 17 went to did not or won in regulation or overtime, meaning one went to a shootout. We're on to the Colorado Avalanche now. So the Avalanche, for them, they're a wild card. They're a wild card in the Pacific. Let's go over there and make sure my stuff right. I know they're Central. Yeah, they're Central. They're a wild card as well. They are 2 points back of the Winnipeg Jets in this universe. 16 wins opposed to Winnipeg's 18. 12 losses for each. 3 overtime losses, so they're going to have... That's where those 2 extra... Right. That's kind of... So they have more overtime loss points. And the same as with Winnipeg, 14 wins, 14 of 60, not 18 this time for Colorado, 14. So just 2 went to the shootout for them. And we're getting almost halfway now to Carolina. The Hurricanes up here, right at the top. So 30 games played for them so far, 34 points in 30 games, 16 wins, 12 losses, 2 overtime losses, 15. Other 16 wins are won in regulation or overtime, 56.7 point percent, which they do share with the team below them, the New York Islanders. So for the Hurricanes in the Metro, yeah, they're third, so they're still within a playoff spot. And they're tied with the New York Islanders. And they're only above them because they have more regulation or overtime wins. 15 opposed to 13. Where everything else is identical. That's almost like a power rankings. Not really. Maybe I should do power rankings. But I can't really do a power rankings. Because I can't cover every game. I just cover a bit from everybody. So now we're all the way to the Islanders. So they're same stats. Alright, we're in the Metro. They're the wild card spot. Having 13 regulation plus overtime wins as opposed to 15. That is why they're fourth, not third. Heading back over to the West, we got the Vancouver Canucks. 34 games played. And so they're exactly at 500. Because they have 34 games played, 34 points. So that's a point per game. They're right middle of the pack. 60 wins, 16. So dead even split between 60 wins, 16 losses, 2 overtime losses, 14. Their 60 wins are in regulation or overtime. And for them, they're in the Pacific Division. They're third. And as you notice, there's no real wild card yet. Because everyone's kind of the same. They're all really close, these 3. Oh yeah, even them. Look how close this is. Look how close this is. Look at that. 33, 29. So these 3 teams they're close enough. They're pretty close. I don't know why it's not on here, but the little star. But I don't know that you need it. So LA, they are the wild card. I don't know why it's not showing up for them. So we move on. Okay, here's why. Here's why. Because there's 2 in one division. There you go. That's why there's... So for now it's imbalanced. So on to the St. Louis Blues. So then, the Blues... Yeah, I gotta hurry this up. This is gonna be like a half hour long, man. So the Blues. So 29 games played, 33 points, 50 wins, 11 losses, 3 overtime losses, 15 regulation overtime wins. And for them, they're in the Central Division. As most of you probably, hopefully you know, they're out of the playoff spot right now. But they're pretty close. They're like very close. They're 2 points out. So they're like almost there, but nope. Not yet. Not yet. Can they overturn the Colorado Avalanche? We shall see. 15 wins, 11 losses, 3 overtime losses, all their wins are in regulation or overtime. We're going to move on to the next team. We're just trying to go through these quick. So on to the Nashville Predators. In the Central Division as well, 32 wins for them, 33 points, so they're over a point per game. For St. Louis, so they're the exact same as St. Louis. Same division too. So they're tied. I know that. I can't see it. So 33 points for them, so they're just over a point, just above 500. 16 wins for them, 15 losses, 15 overtime losses, 16 regulation plus overtime wins. Still over 50%, 51.6 point percentage for them. They're in the Central Division. Right. And they are dead last. They're dead last. Now we're going to move on to the LA Kings. So they're in the Pacific Division. And yeah, balanced. You can see it here. They're 19th. They're 4th. So not, at least for now, as it stands, not everybody will make it. So 33 games played for them. They're at 500, 33 points, 50 wins, 50 losses, 3 overtime losses, 14 regulation plus overtime wins. They're in the Pacific, yeah, they're 4th. And yeah, they're out of a playoff spot for now. Moving on to the next team, we have the Washington Capitals. 30 games played for them. They're 20th overall in the entire league. 32 points for them, so they're above 500. 14 wins, 12 losses, 4 overtime losses. 12 of their 14 wins are in overtime, regulation and overtime. So 2 went to a shootout, and for them, they're the Metropolitan. Yes, they are. Just outside of the playoff spot. 2 points behind the New York Islanders, who have the wildcard spot. Sorry about that. Now we are on. So now we're well past half. What the? I'm in a bit of trouble. But it was spoiler there. So now we're on to the New York Rangers. The Rangers. They are right here. So they have 30 games played, 30 points, 13 wins, 13 losses, 4 overtime losses. 11 of their 13 wins are won in regulation overtime, meaning 2 of their wins were won in a shootout. They're the last team in exactly 50% points percentage. Then we go to the Metro. It's not unlike real life. Yeah. They're quite bad. 30 games, so they're 2 points behind the Washington Capitals, 2 points ahead of the Columbus Blue Jackets. We will get to that. Moving on to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Not the Blue Jackets yet, we'll get to them. Moving on to the Oilers. So the Oilers. Let's talk about them. 32 games played, 30 points, 14 wins, 16 losses, 2 overtime losses, 13 regulation, and overtime wins. 46.9 points percentage. As I just said, from here down, it is below 50% in terms of points percentage. So yeah. And for the Oilers, they're 22nd overall. And in the Pacific, they are 5th. And we are moving on. All the way down to the Florida Panthers. And for them, sorry you cannot see. My fault. So moving on to the Florida Panthers. Hope you listening, and all the stats are right there. You can take another look at them if you need to. Pause the video. But anyway, we're on with the Florida Panthers. 30 games played for them. 29 points, 12 wins, 13 losses, 5 overtime losses, 11 regulation and overtime wins. So just one win to the shootout that they won. And for them in the Atlantic, and it's Metro Atlantic, they are 5th. So, and they are 8 points out of a playoff spot behind the Tampa Bay Lightning. So yeah, it's a bit of a far reach. We are moving up to the Toronto Maple Leafs, 24th overall throughout the league. 32 games played, 29 points, 12 wins, 15 losses, 5 overtime losses. 11 of their 12 were 1 regulation or overtime, which means 1 was in a shootout. 45.3 points percentage. So they're below 500. And in the Atlantic, they are tied with the Florida Panthers in everything but points percentage. Because they play more games. So it's less. 3% difference between the two teams, which is why they are 6th instead of 5th. Moving on to... I'm going to move on to... Wait. Oh, yeah. Moving on to who's next. The Sharks of San Jose. 25th place for them, 33 games played, 29 points, 12 wins, 16 losses, 5 overtime losses, 9 regulation and overtime wins, 43.9 point percentage for them. So, now it's below 45% in terms of point percentage. So, yeah, for them, they're in the Pacific, which, just like real life, it's not very good. Yeah, not everybody makes the postseason here. They are 6th. So yeah, I mean, look how close. Look how close these three teams are. They're in 4 points of each other. It's not that close. I've seen closer, but the Sharks. I mean, they're not. They could get into the hunt. They definitely could. They're like weird because they're not too far below to. They're not to forget about, but they're not high enough to say they can definitely do it. They're definitely gonna make playoffs. No. On to the. Sorry, I have to clear my throat a bit. My favorite team, the Columbus Blue Jackets. 26th place for them. They're quite bad, just like in real life. I'm gonna say about exactly where they'd be. So 31 games played for them, 28 points, below 500 again, 13 wins, 16 losses, 2 overtime losses, 13 regular. 13 have but 1 in regulation or overtime. And for them, in the Metro, they are 7th. So, 31 games played, 28 points, 13 wins, 16 losses, 2 overtime losses, 13 regulation and overtime wins. So they're second to last in the Metro. On to the Flames. For the Calgary Flames, it's been quite rough. Just like in real life, but not this bad. It's better for them. They'd be more like here. More like Nashville or St. Louis is. Instead of... They're quite near... And they're quite near the bottom. So 32 games played for them, just 27 points, 11 wins, 16 losses, 5 overtime losses, 11 regulation, and overtime wins. So and for them, they're in the Pacific, so we'll take a look at that. Yeah. 13 games played, 27 points, 11 wins, 6... I'm repeating myself, sorry. So they're 2 points back at the Sharks, 5 points ahead of the Coyotes. We'll get to the Coyotes. They're dead last. Alright. Number 28, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're much better than this from real life. Oh my god, team's down here. So, 30 games played, 26 points, 12 wins, 16 losses, 2 overtime losses, 12 regulation and overtime wins. On to the Metro. They're dead last. They're 2 points behind the Blue Jackets and 8 points behind outside of a playoff spot, so Yeah, and also, as you notice, they're the last team above 40% in terms of point percentage. On to the Buffalo Sabres, number 29. 32 games played for them, 25 points, 11 wins, 18 losses, 3 overtime losses, 9 regulation and overtime wins. And, yeah. So, they're second worst in the Atlantic. They're 7th. Tied with the Coyotes. Yeah, they're tied. It's only because they have more regulation and overtime wins than Arizona does. Now we're on to the Red Wings. They're second last in the league. There is no Seattle, so there's only 31. So 32 games played for them, 25 points, 11 wins, 18 losses, 3 overtime losses, 7 regulation overtime wins out of their 11. So 4 went to a shootout. And they're tied with the Sabres and everything but regulation overtime wins. We're just looking at these first few stats. As you notice, the Oilers are the last team with the goal differential on the goals for above 90, as they have 91. The highest below that would be the Penguins with 83. Sabres are the worst with 62. One of that's the Red Wings. For them, they're dead last in the Atlantic, as you can see right there. Now we're on to, finally, the worst team in the league by far, by an absolute mile away, of the Arizona Coyotes. Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. So 30 games played for them, 22 points, 11 wins, 19 losses, no overtime losses, so you don't get any points from that. That's not good. 10 of their 11 wins, regulation overtime, 36.7% point percentage, which is the lowest of anyone by a mile. The next lowest team is the Red Wings. They're 3% higher. Okay, just short of. Sorry about that. Yeah, kind of farted a bit. Alright. Well, that's it for this. Kind of gives you something to follow. That's the whole point of this. I'll do it again on Sunday, so please tune in for the update, which will be much faster. I'm gonna go. I'm just going through teams and say. Probably be about half the time of this. It's probably been about 30 minutes, and I will have every team in the description time-stamped. So you can go to the team you want, and pick. You can just go to the team you want, click the timestamp, boom, do what you want. And you can watch the entire video. Then you know where everyone is. Goodbye. See you for the Devils game.